It has been a really busy week. Trump news, political polls, a wild week on the economy, and Brett Favre, of all people, caught up in a huge scandal. So let's break it all down and maybe even shake it up a little with our Friday night panel. Nancy Giles is with us, Emmy-winning CBS Morning contributor and host of the Giles Files podcast. Actress and comedian Judy Gold, author of Yes, I Can Say That. When they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. Liz Plank is here, MSNBC columnist and author of the book For the Love of Men. And my dear friend Ron Insana, CNBC senior analyst. I am so glad you guys are here. We have a lot to cover, and you all know what I'm going to start with. Trump. This week, New York Attorney General Tish James going after Trump, filing a lawsuit against him, his family, his company, and I love how our own Michael Conway of NBC News puts it. Tish James hits Trump right in his ego. Judy, I turn to you first. We've been waiting for something to happen for a while.
Waiting.
How'd you feel?
It was very exciting. Unfortunately, it was in the morning, so I couldn't really drink and get on with my day.
It was 11:30.
Yeah,
it was not 7.
No, I didn't have a drink. I had just done a benefit earlier in the week, and she was there, and she was speaking, and she was so articulate and brilliant and just passionate. And I wanted to say, when is it? When? I can't take anymore. And then they made the announcement. I couldn't have been more thrilled, and I love the response. And me dragging my kids into it, and they're 40 years old, you know?
Yeah. They're not just 40-year-old kids who are inheriting his business. They're officers in the company.
Right.
Ivanka has negotiated that hotel in Washington, D.C. Eric and Don Jr. ran the business when he was in the White House. So it's baloney to say, well, you're bringing the kids in.
Right.
I hated that, and I agree with Judy. They're not kids, they're grown-ups. And I have to say also, if Trump uses the word raid one more time when he's not referring to like insect spray, I'm going to lose it. No, Breonna Taylor, her home was raided. They gave Trump all of these notices. Please, is it okay? Can we come in? Oh, here's another. The lawyer was there. He was watching in real time from New York. There was no surprise. It was so satisfying to see Tish James, and also just from a black woman's point of view, right on my sister.
But that's exactly it. Imagine he's watching from New York, and of all people who said they're going to get Trump, they're going to go after him. A black woman stood there, and line by line, letter by letter, you could tell neither she nor one person from her team has taken 1 minute of vacation for the last 2.5 years.
They did have that haggard look when they were
sure did.
And then he called her a racist.
Oh, yeah. Projection. That's him.
And what she did, which no one else has been able to do, is pinpoint the extent to which there was likely fraud in the organization. And again, hitting him in the ego, effectively suggesting he's not worth what he has always said he is worth. That is the hardest hit. That is the meanest cut. And it's not even death by 1,000 cuts. It was one sword swipe that, you know, as we who covered him over the course of many decades suspected, he's probably not worth what he says he is.
We've known that for a while, but I actually think this, look, his approval rating is very low, and this will, in fact, hurt him.
But it's not moving.
That's the thing. There's still people who will support him no matter what. And in many ways, you know, he does his best work when there's this villain that he can go up against, where he can be the hero. You know, they're coming for my family. They're coming for us. Therefore, they're coming for you. So I worry that this might actually give him
I think this is a little different.
narrative.
No, I think it's a little different. He's down at like 33% with respect to the approval rating that he has, and exposing him on multiple fronts simultaneously and saddling him with financial obligations that he may not be able to handle puts him in a situation that's very much unlike 2015, 2016.
He can't buy real estate. He can't buy real estate for 5 years.
And I also
well, not yet, but potentially.
Hearing about these large amounts of money, this overestimating these already kind of inflated things, I don't think that a lot of MAGA people can relate. And I don't even like to call them MAGA people. That's really, it's their right to support who they want, but maybe hearing numbers like that and seeing this guy's been a cheat for so long will wake some people up and go, wait a minute, maybe.
We've been saying that for a while.
I keep hoping.
At the inauguration, he inflates everything.
Oh my God, that's right.
Everything he said, this, the biggest, the best, I'm the smartest. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And I got away with it, right? When his taxes were released, that's what we know this already. And he said, I did it right, right? And you know, he got a lot of support for that. that. People were saying, well, he's smart.
Can he
right.
declassify his taxes? That's what
Okay,
I'd like to know.
we're going to go there because that
Technically
wasn't the
can't.
only place he was hit this week, right? Think about the Mar-a-Lago document case. This week, right, his judge, Aileen Cannon, who was, many say protecting him, she couldn't. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals said, nope, DOJ, you can see the documents. The special master that Trump chose has basically said, put up or shut up with your lies. I want to know who's advising Trump, because after this, you'd think his lawyers would say, you need to lock down and let us do this. He goes on TV for an hour and a half.
When you're pulling your lawyers from OAN, you're not exactly, hiring the top
He's
criminal
his
or
lawyer.
even.
He thinks
Yeah.
he is the best one to judge how he should do things, and I say go for it. You
Yeah.
know? It's so much fun to watch.
I mean, it's always been true, though, too. I mean, he's.
But talk about the ego. The fact that these people were put in place by him, some of them.
Right.
And they were like, sorry, you're not above the rule of law.
That's right.
And that, to me, was the beautiful part, that he can see, there's something bigger than I am, because he thinks he is the biggest.
But this isn't saying, will it lead to anything?
That's the
because
question.
it's so frustrating. I got a letter from the IRS. I owe them an extra $1,400, and part of me wants to scrawl in lipstick.
please.
How about Trump?
I know, right.
I wouldn't
why am I
recommend that,
paying?
by the way. I wouldn't recommend that.
I know, but it's for most regular people who try to follow the rules and don't make a right turn on red. Like, what are we doing?
If he wasn't president, let's be clear, he would have gotten away with all of this. I want to talk about something else that has to do with regular people, and it's the economy. Because this week, think about what we got. The Fed came out with an announcement they're raising interest rates. Why? Because inflation is remaining really hot. And in the beginning, it's the war, it's the pandemic, prices are so high. They're going to raise rates again before the end of the year. And the scariest thing is that Jay Powell gave us the hint, get ready, unemployment may go up. So I turn to you first, Ron.
Yeah.
How concerned should we be? Life's getting a lot more expensive.
So I think inflation's peaked. I'm in the camp that thinks that this is in the next couple months we are going to see inflation fall extremely hard. Gasoline, after one day where it blipped up for a second, is back on the downside. It's falling towards $3 a gallon. Food prices are beginning to roll over. Retailers have huge inventories of unsold goods. I think we're moving to a place where the Fed's going to make a mistake and drive us into an unnecessary recession. I'm much more worried about recession than I am about inflation at this point.
Okay, well then if we do head to a recession, remember the last 2 years, this has been employees have had a lot more say.
Right.
We have said we want to work from home, we're looking
Right.
for new benefits, and companies have started to work with us. If we slide into a recession, I know you, Liz, talk so much about benefits, what people deserve, work-life balance. That's going to go right by the wayside if suddenly big layoffs are coming.
Yeah, and Gen Z, I'm looking at them and how their relationship with work is completely changing. Yeah. And again, it's hard to even manage Gen Z people because they are, in many ways know what they deserve and they're not willing to take less. And so they're leaving, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see how we fill that gap.
But here's the thing. You can only leave if you can pay the rent, if you have a couch to sleep on. So this idea that especially a lot of young people who are saying, I deserve more, I want something else, I've never had the luxury of being able to do that. I always had to pay the rent.
Of course. Most of us that are older, and you to a lesser extent, no, we've had to. I don't mean to make us all into old farts, but no, it's a whole different
you can
mindset.
put me right there.
See, what I want to know, this is the part about the economy that I never got. How much of this do you think is driven by greed? Because it really does feel like with the oil industry and with these mega billionaires who don't even want to bargain with Gen Z who are trying to get, unions and stuff going. Like, what's with that?
Okay, so on the price gouging stuff, we hear this every time oil goes up, right? But no one says anything when oil crashes as it did in 2020. And you saw a minus $37 per barrel price for oil. Oil companies lost billions of dollars. Nobody rushes to their aid when that happens,
Because
right?
they make so many billions so often, maybe.
On and off over time.
Okay.
It's a global commodity priced in dollars, and it really depends on supply and demand. So, yes, in certain instances, in a variety of industries, there's price gouging, price fixing. These things happen from time to time. This
And
is
they're
a
legal
fundamental,
in a lot of
and it's fundamentally a different experience that we're going through right now. This is a global phenomenon. There have been shortages, disruptions, and other types of things that make that argument, I think, a little less salient today than it might have been during other periods.
But it's a reminder right now, if things are getting tough, save where you can.